everybody, and welcome back once again to Suzerain, the second playthrough. And here we are, just about to conduct our trade negotiations. Yeah. Now, obviously I've played this game before, so there is going to be a little bit of using my previous playthroughs to influence some decision-making processes. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of that, if you want to use the word ashamed, I suppose. Because normally I don't do that kind of thing. I try to roleplay as much as possible and try not to metagame and stuff. But because I've already played this game before, and this is a second playthrough, I do want to try to maximise getting a decent outcome with this fella. Not to say that the choices that I make based on what I know are going to result in the best outcome, but hey. So for example, Agnolia, we know for a fact that if we ally with Agnolia, we can't ally with Valgsland. Now, Valgsland are a very powerful nation, and they have a better navy, and we are quite military-minded, so we would prefer to ally with Valgsland, for example. So by allying with Agnolia, we're not going to be able to do that. Now, we might not be able to ally with Valgsland anyway, because some of the choices we've made, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So we will probably snub Agnolia, because we don't want to try to kibosh our options with Valgslands, for example. So we're using that kind of knowledge. But I suppose it would kind of make sense that we would know that anyway. We would know that Valgsland have a more powerful navy, and we're trying to be as military strong as possible. The only issue is, will Valgsland want to ally with us if we are now in direct conflict with Rumburg? That's my only concern here. We might have kiboshed that anyway, but we're going to try to see if we can, and if we ally with Agnolia, we certainly can. So Agnolia are going to be out, so we're going to turn them down, but we will listen to what they have to say, of course. Valen, we already know that Valen are very anti-Bludish. They are trying to take down the BFF, as they put it, the BFF terrorists and stuff, so that's very much allied with our kind of thinking right now. So an alliance with Valen makes a lot of sense. So we kind of know where we're going with these, and so I'm probably going to skip through these quite quickly to start with, simply because we've had this before. I do apologise if you are watching this for the first time and you haven't seen my previous playthrough, but I will leave it on the screen so you can read it yourself, but I'm not going to give it the full attention because we kind of know the outcome here. So without further ado, we'll deal with Agnolia first, because it's going to be a flat-out no from us. So here we go. Trade talks with the Prime Minister of Agnolia, boarding our flight to take us to Starport. 3 hours in the air, but it went smoothly. David, Simon talking away. We actually flew over Heliland, which is the land that is being contested. We know that, and that's has actually perhaps made our decision for us. It also helps. I think from memory that most of the world admit that Valgsland have the rights to Heliland. So you know, some of the requests that Agnolia might make of us would fly in the face of the vast majority of people's thinking, so we've got that to back us up with our decision-making a little bit, should we need to. Yeah. So many conflicts over such a small piece of land, says David. Yes. But yeah, if we were in the shoes of the Agnolian Prime Minister, we would do anything to protect the motherland. We are all about protecting our people, standing fast, standing firm in the face of adversity. So that's what we would certainly do. David's trying to question more things as he gets older. He might bring this up as a bargaining chip, apparently. Yeah, he says it here. The international community has yet to recognise Heliland as Agnolian. So Valgsland have the support of the United Contan and the CSP. Nothing about Rumburg here. So we might still be able to get an alliance with Valgsland if we don't commit to Agnolia. So this will be interesting, because I've not allied with Valgsland in any of the 2 playthroughs that I've done so far. So we'll see what that brings. And that is exactly our thinking. We wouldn't want to do anything to injure our relationship with Valgsland here. Stick to the middle ground. Any additional requests? Yep, we're not going for selling us steel at a higher price. We're not going to be conned, and yeah, they're trying to sweeten the deal with some cash investments into agged land. We don't really care about that. We care about the straight up price that we are being offered their steel for. Why renege on their previous deals? And of course our job will be tighter because we've tightened immigration laws. Well, that's the way it is, isn't it? Right, Starpod is here. Okay, and we get out and we wave at the crowd, because hey, why not? Any chance for a photo op, we will certainly take it. Okay. Foreign Minister has greeted us. We're probably slightly affronted by this, simply for the fact that we would have preferred to have met the Prime Minister in person. What, was he too busy to see us? The Prime Minister of the neighbouring, the President, excuse me, of the neighbouring country visits you, and you can't even come and say hello in person. Definitely not happy about that. And here's Sergei. And we just simply nodded to Sergei, not in a talkative mood here. We're in the convoy. Some old-looking ships. City looking very grey and grim. Not exactly the kind of thing you want to see in a potential ally, is it? What are they going to offer us? Oh, grey and grimness. And battered old ships. Oh, perfect. So if we need them in any kind of war, they're going to be useless, are they? Ah, I'll bear that in mind with our decision-making. Rumberg's architecture prevalent. I mean, they neighbour Rumberg, but that's another thing that's ticked us off. It's not going well, this visit, is it? Right, we're on the main road. And apparently, people are not too happy to see us. Shouting and yelling at the convoy with the crowd. Go home, Rayne. We don't want autocrats in Agnolia. We didn't get this last time, I don't think, so this has got to be to do with our decision-making process so far. Okay. Ungrateful swines, I agree, Sergei. Not everyone sees a great leader like you every day. No, I completely agree, Sergei. These people are, well, let's just say, clearly not used to being in the presence of such greatness. Ungrateful swines. Scared of our potential? They're now afraid that a lion leads Swordland. Afraid of us. We'd like to suggest that he's probably right. Good judge is our Sergei, isn't he? Good judge. And we have arrived. Finally, we get to see the Prime Minister, alongside dozens of press. Shorter than I thought. We probably take a great deal of pride from that. We're probably the kind of person that enjoys towering over people. The beautiful city, he says. Yeah. Prime Minister, keeping things very kind of simple, not overly jovial and warm, since he couldn't be bothered to meet us at the plane. He reached out for a handshake. This is the moment the press had been waiting for. Should we snub him right now? We'd be so tempted. But hey, again, photo opportunities. Overpower his handshake! Oh, of course! I overpowered his handshake and he got caught by surprise as the press took the picture of me having the upper hand. He smiled awkwardly. The power handshake. Not to be bested by a smaller man, we simply give him the crusher handshake. Of course we did, of course we did. With a great big cheesy smile for the camera as well. Surprised his cigar wasn't hanging out of his mouth too. We entered and the press actually followed us inside. Clearly there are no limits for the press here in Agnolia. They won't be rushing forward into my maroon palace quite so frivolously. Oh, gift time! They're going to present us with a gift. Sign of a friendship between our countries. Glass case, single sheet of parchment. One of the first treaties written between Swordland and Agnolia. May it mark the renewal of our friendship today. Oh, very good. Again, just keeping things very short and simple here. Not going to be too over the top with our praise. It's a piece of parchment, for heaven's sake. Our photos were taken. And it's time to present our gift. Yes, our gift. Oh, now would we purposely give him a puppy given his... We're not that bad a person. But yeah, I think we gave this last time, but the ceremonial sword, swordish steel, a sign of strength. Here's a true present, a true gift. Swordish steel. An excellent specimen, he says. Swordish steel, he notices. Cameras flashing furiously. Time for the office. Yeah, a modest office. Here we go. Time for business. Yes, we simply nod. Ooh. He moved over to the bar. Well, seeing as we're here, we will not turn down a good drink just because we're going to not go ahead with any of the alliances here. Doesn't mean that we can't enjoy ourselves as much as possible. Of course we would like a drink. Earl Roy Maroon, 30-year-old. We're not pandering here. Agnolian vodka? No, thank you. This is where he turns around and says, I don't have that, actually. You're keeping it swordish. Very good whiskey for sure. Yes, well, when from Swordland, do as Swordland does, wherever you are in the world. Oh, he did have some. That's nice. Pours his drinks. I don't think we can help it here. Have a slight dig. Can't you control your people? The rabble that we had to drive past? Lashing out at me before we even start discussing the trade deal? Please look at your own country first before indulging yourself with Agnolian matters, Mr. Rayne. Oh, this is getting off to a great start, isn't it? Okay, turns to immigration policy. You have worries, do you? Yada yada. Yes, immigrants very beneficial for the economy. Yes, yes. We would prefer it if you would be welcoming to our citizens, vice versa. Yes. Yes. No disrespect, Martin, but before I start crying about Agnolian citizens, I must care about my own people first. Valid point. Not giving you much incentive to work with. Well, that is the plan. Took a sip from his vodka. Asking us about our state of emergency. It's going swimmingly, actually. Going very well. We are eliminating the threats one by one. Internal and external. Oh yes, it's very worrying, he says. State of emergency right next to our borders. Wants to know if we're a reliable trading partner. If we accept you as a trade partner, you'd find that we are extremely reliable. Swordland always pays its debts and all that. Right, yeah. As long as Agnolia is a reliable trading partner in return. He assures us that they are. Right, anyway, let's get to the chase. What's it going to be? What do you want? Oh, not convinced that we're the right partner. We're too volatile. Elected politicians getting killed left and right. Well, there was one politician, not many. Bit of an exaggeration. Subsequent protests, well, between the left and right, which have now been quelled, actually, with my strong leadership, but hey, let's gloss over the fact, shall we? We were willing at first, but the situation has changed. Oh dear. So we've come all this way to be heckled by the rabble that is the Agnolian people, to drive past grim and grey dishevelled locations, to not even meet you at the steps of the plane. Wait, can't we work something out? Sounds very desperate. Did you bring me here to ridicule me? No, we already had our own mind made up. So simply we will put it on his toes that he is making a very grave mistake. Solve your own problems first before you threaten me, Mr. Rayne. Well then, he stood up from his chair. Continue the official program we must. Yeah, pay a visit to the founder's grave, yada yada, state dinner. Again, we have to maintain face, we have to maintain our diplomatic outlook, we are the president of Swordland, and as much as we have disagreed on trade matters here, we will do our bit to ensure that we're not seen as some raving lunatic. So, yes, we will go ahead with the formalities, smile for the cameras where necessary, and then promptly leave when it is time to do so. But not before briefing Simon and David. It's quite interesting, actually. The first time when we got the option that we weren't interested in trading and whatever else, we could push it a little bit further. Here it was a flat-out no. Flat-out no. So yeah, rest of the trip, fake smiles, handshakes, long ceremonies, longer meetings, and all the rest of it. Sigh of relief when we touched back down, I'm not surprised. That went on for far too long. Failed trade negotiation, but we were happy for it to fail. And actually, I don't know whether we're upset at the fact that it's almost like he's pulled the plug rather than we pulled the plug. To be honest with you, it would have been better if we'd have been the ones to pull it. But hey, we're not unhappy with the outcome. Right, we've got diplomacy situation, failed trade negotiation, it's fine. A radical journal arrested. Yeah, links to the Red Youth. Perhaps we should shut down their entire paper, if you ask me. Also post, the radical darkness descends. Journalist John Dendon arrested. On scene without giving a reason. Okay. We, the team here at the Radical, condemn this arrest and ask the government to reevaluate their decisions. We ask that Dendon be released, and we promise to the Swordish people that nothing will stop us from sharing the truth with you. We will not be silenced. We'll see about that. Van Horten is playing with fire. Well, Van Horten is on his own, because we are not allied with them, so play with fire, get burnt. And if we do manage to ally with Vangsland, Agnolia are in a world of trouble, I think. Right, here we go. Trade talks with the President of Valen. Raklovich. Here we are. Hopefully this will go a lot more smoothly. Landed at the international airport. Our aim was to finalise the trade deal. Plane lands and all the jazz. Soldiers lining the red carpet. A marching band playing. Soldiers saluting me. This is a much better start. We will salute them back. And look at that. At the bottom of the stairs, Victor Smolak was waiting for me in person. At the steps. Not at his little palace or big palace miles away. Meeting me as I land, as I expect, giving me the ceremony I deserve, off to a good start. And a tall man, almost as tall as me, not quite, but tall, so tall in our mind, yes, tall, good, strong, not quite as tall, but not bad, not bad. Wearing large sunglasses, I'm just picturing him wearing these massive kind of aviator-style glasses that take up half of his face. The two cool dudes, there's me, tuxedo, cigar hanging out of mouth, there's him with his great big aviators on. The two presidents, we must look like a right couple. Right pair. Okay, welcome to Raklovich, he says. And we hugged. Already a much, much better feeling than Agnolia. Hugging, military salutes. Both of us looking cool. Pull them aside for a couple of more poses yourself. No, not that bad. Nice to see you, Mr. President. We'll be a lot more friendly this time around than we were in Agnolia. Right. Let's go for a tour, he says, in the Jeep. We're going to continue to salute the soldiers. So we're off to the grand unveiling of a statue. Whose statue? Of course, we know it's his statue. Why not have a statue of yourself? Streets are completely empty. Yes. Oh, is this empty, is it, Raklovich? No, of course not. He's cleared the streets. So you could enjoy the city in peace. Life is much more peaceful without the throngs of people, hurling abuse at you from the sides of the road. Although probably they wouldn't do that here, I wouldn't have guessed. Look at that. The crowds of people here are waving Swordland flags as well as Valen flags. So, yeah, we like this. Much better visit so far. People have been supportive of this visit, he says. I'm sure you are delighted to see them. Far more delighted than those Agnolian rabble. A man comes closer. Victor and Murderer, apparently. Two soldiers hoiked him away. He tactfully ignores the commotion. Thankfully the sun is out, he says. Good day for a reveal. Yes, good to know. Good to see that you know how to handle dissidents. Very good. We can't have these kind of people doing these kind of things unmolested now, can we? Just show them who's boss. I'm glad you approve. We have the same mind, he says. I knew we would get along just fine. And so he uncovers his fairly good likeness statue. Yes, he's hammed up the muscles a bit, but nonetheless, not bad. Very lifelike, he says. What do you think? Yes, not bad at all. Glad you appreciate the art behind it. Now, join me for a walk. We pass by a pastry vendor. 2 strudels, please. Yes, we shall wait for him to pay the street vendor, of course. Of course, he doesn't pay anything to the street vendor, because why would he pay? He's the president, why would he pay? And we continue to walk too. The poor vendor didn't get a single penny. He doesn't need a penny. He's been blessed by 2 presidents. And then we finally get to the palace. Spacious chandeliers, grand staircases from ivory stone, red carpets. A stark contrast to the modest nature of the palace in Agnolia. And knowing us, we probably appreciate this level of extravagance. Jewel-encrusted artifacts, golden ornaments. And then we sit on the carpet, as is customary in their country. And now it's time to get down to the trade deal. We nod. But before that, he claps his hands, and Keisha comes in. Smoking instrument. He hands me the Keisha, and we partake, of course. Why not? When in Valen and all that. Highest quality tobacco that I perhaps had ever smoked. Now, what a lovely, relaxing time. Strudels, ceremony, extravagance, and Keisha. This is such a stark contrast to the Agnolian visit. We're actually enjoying ourselves here. Wants to call us Anton. Of course, you're among friends now, Mr. Smolak, as long as I can call you Victor, of course. Okay, this is going to be slightly different now, because obviously we've got the situation. So, we put an embargo on Rumberg, and he's happy that we stood up to them. He's also asking what we really think of Rumberg. Yeah, they can go to hell. We're in the company of friends, and I don't think there's any reporters or anything here, so we can speak the truth. Exactly, he says. To hell with Rumberg. I like you already, Anton. I assure you their time will come. Really? You don't happen to be planning something, do you? Well, not yet. First I need to solve some problems they are creating for me. Okay, I'm listening. Claps his hands and 2 more assistants come in with a map. He points at the border. Blues, he says, and their so-called BFF, causing problems for me. As well as you, I hear. And they are supported actively by Rumberg. He plans to hit them with all the might of Wayland. They need to be destroyed. We will cut their supplies and trap them on the mountains. Operation Bear Trap. Yeah, what do you want from me? I like the sound of it. He grinned and lay back on the large pillow behind him. Okay, so here is the deal, he says. I will give you objectively the best trade deal in the region. You will give me your assistance crushing the terrorists on both of our borders. Specifics? Sure. My spies have infiltrated BFF cells and they found caches of Ka-74s. We traced them back to Rumberg. This alone justifies my retaliation to protect my country. Worst of all, we also found that similar shipments are going to Swordland. Rumberg is trying to unite the BFF forces in both of our countries. We've got some tentative evidence of that. However, the main problem is the border security between our nations. BFF militants have been using the mountains between Swordland and Wayland to escape justice in both of our countries. If we don't act and trap them in those mountains, they will keep replenishing their forces in both of our countries and keep waging war against our citizens. Anton, you see, this is not just Wayland's problem. Now let's take a step back and talk about what you will get in return. No tariff agreement, co-investment projects, and oil. In return, you will assist me in destroying the armed militants in my country. And he's trying to convince us by saying that it's an interest to the whole region. So what exactly do you need from me? I mean, can't Wayland handle it by itself? Seems a little bit accusatory or challenging or, you know. So why would you offer me so much? Are there any catches here? Why wouldn't I? I want Swordland to be Wayland's friend. The question is, do you also want Wayland as your friend? A joint operation is all I ask for. Now, we could go out with a full-scale operation, and I know that last time we did this, we didn't do that. We kind of was, yeah, we won't go for full-scale, but if they come to our border, we'll turf them back in. And he was still happy with that. So we still got the full trade deal for a little bit of a pared back contribution. So I think we're going to go down the same line because we don't want to be too overt here, and if we can get what we want by being seen just to be defending our own border, that would be preferable rather than, I don't know, putting our troops, for example, straight into the mountains and jointly doing this. So I think let's see if we can still do that same tactic here. You are a tough one, he says. Because we got off on a good foot and he likes us, he's willing to negotiate. Final offer, he says. Operation, when it starts, with or without you there, will be stragglers trying to cross into Swordland. We want you to support the operation even if you do not join. Stop the terrorists from fleeing into your country and you will have your deal. Simple as that. So what do you think? Deal. Complete and utter deal. 100%. Ah, I knew I could trust you. Tonight, we will drink. Clap your hands twice and let's get this party started. Oh, he does. Drinks, dancers, and music. The quiche's puffed on several more times, the cigars come out, the room is full of smoke, and the festivities commence. We clink our glasses, and we sip on not Earl Roy Maroon, oh no, we're happy to sip on the sweet Wessex liquor this time. Next day I returned to Swordland with a hangover. Holy cow. Right, there you go. To say that I was trying to whiz through those, it's still taken half an hour. Right, but hey, it would have taken a lot longer if I'd gone through that properly. Right, so we have achieved what we wanted to achieve. No trade with Agnolia, trade with Valen. So Swordland ratified a new trade agreement with Valen. A significant development. Is that line looking a little bit better, or is it just my eyes? Okay, very good. Let's have a look at some of the situations here. Valen border defence. Good. Situations. Recovered trade volume. Positive impact on the economy. That's good. And we have a few things here. Trade with Valen. Defend border against the BFF, and that means that we have tariff-free oil trade with Valen, which is great news. So, you know, it's not going too badly. Right, CSP asserts sovereignty with PMC ban. Read that at your leisure. And the Arcasian Treaty Organisation, Brokers for Peace amidst Resian claims, Lesbia mediates. Again, read at your leisure. I've never been that interested in international news, to be fair. In my second playthrough, I read the international news a lot more closely than I did in my first playthrough, and also in this one. Some of it was quite interesting, but it's more for flavour. Some of it does have a little bit of an impact on your decision-making, especially if you want to ally with any of the superpowers, but in both of the online playthroughs that I've done, we have remained neutral for one reason or another. Right, okay, so extend the emergency decree. I think we can probably end it now. We're almost there. We've already funded the police force. We've funded the military. We've got most of the protests done. I don't think we should extend it, is my personal view. I don't know if we're going to get any kind of option or spiel about it, but my inclination would be to call it to a close. I think it's achieved what it set out to achieve, and I think it's going to maybe hopefully help the economy if we end it now, and especially whilst we're starting to talk about trade deals and stuff. Arrest report. Over 1,000 people were arrested in Narbel in relation to the operations against the national security threats. Very good. Very good. Right, rebel. Virgin police ambushed by young militants. Look at that. KA-74s from Rumberg, no doubt. Yeah. The quicker that Smolak deals with the situation, the better. Absolutely. They're like animals. Right. Whole sword. Extend the emergency decree. But the opposition is growing. Chief Justice Hawker has argued that the security situation hasn't fully resolved. Ooh. So what if we pull it too soon, and all of the hard work that we've just done comes unravelling before our very eyes? We've got a lot of work to do with the BFF yet, and that might cause some further protests and stuff. But as I said, because we have invested into the secret state police and we have invested into the police in general, I think that should be enough without the powers of this decree to be extended. And if we hadn't have done that, then I might be more inclined to extend it. But I do think that it's time to revoke it, and the Chief Justice has got his own reasons for this being extended, which probably aren't all to do with the stability of the country, as it were. Especially while the opposition is growing, I think we've got to pay heed to certain situations here. We do want to be re-elected if we can. So no, we're going to revoke it now. It's time to bring it to a close. Okay. So that marks the end of a chapter, it seems. Wealth of nations. Ooh, let's see our wealth increasing, shall we? Righty-ho. We'll go for about another 15 minutes or so. I'm not rushing off to football today, but try and keep these sessions to around about sort of 50 minutes or so. Read the report. Governor Bron proposes dividing up communities in Berger. BFF support is increasing, apparently. Trying to achieve a cultural balance by resettling Swordish and Bluedish people. Some people are saying that this would directly go against the Constitution. Oh, interesting. Magnolia. Van Horten wins elections. Continuing on as Prime Minister, he is. Very good for him. Right, Economist. Boosting the economy. Central Bank Reinforcement Act. That does sound good for us. The Grand National Assembly seem to be moving forward with it. Health requires more resources. We don't have resources to plunge into it, unfortunately. Apparently, to solve the issues, it will be a gargantuan scale effort that is required. Potential of an epidemic. I'm so sorry, but we can't afford it. The hidden power of men in uniform. No political leader in Swordland can survive in office without some support from the general staff. We have one of the most influential militaries in the region, coming just behind Valen. Rumberg gains naval rights base. This is interesting. Strengthening their alliance with Rizia. It's a little bit worrying. Right, we've got some more report. General Staff convenes. Sure, they should be happy with their funding. Privatisation plan proposal. We can't privatise the health system, as well as the education with planned economy. We do want to maintain at least state control over one of our welfare sectors. So I'm sorry, Mr. Bennywall, but that plan is going to fall on deaf ears. So we've got two things, so we'll do both of these before we finish, if they both don't take too long. So the first one is the opening of the railway, and the second is the meeting with Mr. Landseer. So we'll meet with our Ministry of Defence, Mr. Landseer, first. Seems like it might be more important, but hey, and hopefully that'll also boost the economy further. I'm hoping to see a green line at some point. I'm hoping. Arrived at the cubic building that housed most of the military command that resided in Hallsword, the great and brutalist structure looked daunting. I never liked this building. It always made me feel like I was standing under the concrete foot of a giant getting ready to crush me. It made me feel small, and I never quite got used to the feeling, even after this many years. At the entrance, I was greeted by Iosef and his military entourage of young officers. Welcome to the Ministry of Defence, Mr. President. Let's go to my office. We walked from corridor to reach the office. On the way, we were met with high-ranking officers as well as privates. Every time one of these soldiers saw me, they stopped and saluted me. When we finally arrived at Iosef's office, his entourage saluted us and left. He closed the door and took a seat. Yes, let's begin, shall we, Iosef? What's wrong? He leaned back and interlocked his hands. The situation with Rumberg is getting worse, and if it wasn't for our investments in the military, I would be even more concerned. Yes. I will make sure it won't come to that. Not everything might be up to us, sir. Our efforts to restructure the military should prove beneficial in a potential conflict. We would never be able to match the force of Rumberg on equal terms, therefore our switch of the military to a smaller, well-equipped and autonomously led combat units will prove better in the field. Yes. I am sure that the military is in good hands, Iosif. You've been a man of military standing for quite a number of years, if I recall. I am doing my best to defend the country. There is nothing I care for more than Swordland. As a result of the recent deal with Valen, we have started reinforcing the border. Forward scouts have been deployed and we have started moving our divisions. Rest assured, we are ready for anything that will come from the other side of the border. We will be providing our reports to you. Yes. I don't want anyone in. Not a single deserter should pass our borders. Oh, we won't, Mr. President. Let's move on to our main topic. The mandatory conscription law has become a matter of discussion, and we need to strike a decision whether to keep it or remove it. The facts are that the conscription gives us a large reservist pool that can cover a larger front line, but these troops lack the morale and quality to be offensive elements. It is the last step remaining to switch to a modern professional armed force. Our restructuring is hindered by 100,000 of cadets extending our logistics, slowing command structure, and reducing the combat efficiency of our experienced units. Yes. Well, quite simply, if they are a hindrance, then we should remove mandatory. As I said when I selected our military doctrine, we are going for quantity, not quality. We need all of our resources concentrated on our efficient units that will outperform the enemy in our mountainous terrain. The choice is up to you. Remove it. I want a professional force of willingly enlisted soldiers. Sure, the new changes will be implemented as you wish. A strong knock on the door was heard, and the chief of the armed forces, Vulcan Kruger, walked in quickly with a frown. What is the meaning of this, Iosif? Why haven't I been invited? What is going on here? You are overstepping and interrupting a personal meeting between me and the president. Vulcan deliberated the situation. Oh, I see what is going on here. I mean no disrespect, but I'm leading the ground operations and I must be informed of any strategic changes. Well, now that you're here, what is your opinion on conscription? The matter is rather simple from my point of view. Our forces have gone large structural changes, changing the operational capabilities and tactics. However, at the end of the day, Rumberg has a larger army, air force and navy. Our conscripts will fill the much-needed weaknesses we have. Yes. Well, I'm afraid we don't share the same opinion. This is a modern age and requires a modern army. That settles it then. I would ask you to consider. No, I'm content with the decision. All right, then we can move on. We also have to decide how exactly we spend our additional remaining funds in the military. In June, we decided to upgrade the equipment of our military. The military thanks the administration for the extensive support, especially in creating a modern fighting force. We need to decide which branch we would want to modernize more. Well, I bow down to your greater wisdom, Iosif. Which branch, in your opinion, requires the modernization the most? Strategically speaking, the army would be the safest choice. However, the air and naval forces would do well with further modernization too. Which branch should we modernize? Thinking about this tactically, if we were going to ally with Valsland, right, they have a strong navy, so we've got the navy covered anyway. We're assuming here, by the way. And he said army, and we trust his judgment. So, well, he said it's the safest option. Not necessarily the best option, but in absence of any further recommendation, I think we'll go with it. So we'll modernise the army. I mean, they are the ground troops, the bread and butter, the backbone of the force. So yeah, we'll modernise the army. Ah, as you wish. The changes will be implemented this month and finished at the end of November. Thank you for listening. He says none of his opinions were taken into consideration, and he wasn't even invited, so if I was him, I'd be furious right now. Have a good day. In fact, we'll salute. We are dealing with military men here. And we returned to the Maroon Palace. Oh, wow. Lots of briefings and 12 news articles. Jesus wept. Right. This might actually take us to the end of the session, unless we can fly through these. Citizens celebrate revocation of national emergency. Citizens of Azaran have reacted positively. Impromptu fireworks. Oh, very good. That's good. Oh, Bron has now enacted the resettlement order. Oh dear. I mean, we're not that fussed, to be fair. Oh dear, I'm thinking with my head on, not with Mr. Rayne's head on. Anyway, Enrica, Women's Rights March, calling for gender equality. Okay, that's beginning to take some... Oh, I'm sure that line's definitely looking flatter. In fact, I'm 100% certain that line is definitely looking flatter. And hang on a second. Government budget seems to have gone up from... Were we -2 at the start of the session? Modernised army. Oh, look at that. Modernised army, that's good. Yeah, I'll have to check the start of the session, but I'm sure we were in the minus, and that's now 0, and I'm sure that was definitely gone more positive, well, less negative. So, yeah, I think I've said it a few times in this playthrough, as much as he is... He's a president that knows his mind. We've got to give him that much. He stands by his ideals, and he does what he says he's going to do. We'll give him... That might be as much as we can give him. But, to be fair... I don't think he's doing a bad job. I mean, obviously, I'm not a citizen of Swordland. I'm sure the citizens might think otherwise. But if we're looking at the economy, budgets, personal wealth, even, we've got the big wigs on side in terms of, you know, Tuscany's cronies. We've got some political partnerships, you know, with the papers and stuff. We've probably got the support of our party right now. We've not upset anybody. We've not gone with the reforms. So, you know, we're digging the dirt on the opposition. So if it does get to an election and we do manage to survive, we've probably eliminated any sort of threats to our re-election. I'm telling you, I think it's not doing too badly. Gen citizens decry revocation of emergency. Oh, they were happy with the police presence, apparently. Oh, well, you can't please everybody, can you? Right, what have we got going on here? Supreme Court to retroactively review the constitutionality of the emergency. Oh, to review Franz Richter's complaints. Oh, they're going to do a judicial review. That'll go well, won't it? Mr. Richter, you idiot. Right. Okay, we've got a lot of newspaper articles. Fight against BFF continues in Berger. So this is about the resettlement order. Violation of human rights. And an attempt to target the Bluish community. Whatever do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. It's purely to maintain security in the region. Yeah. Their propaganda has infiltrated schools, religious communities. We need to take action to stop the radicalization of young people. It may be extreme, but it's necessary. Stability in doubt. So our early revocation of it is not going down too well, it seems. Maybe we have been too hasty here. And this is about the removal of conscription. Apparently that's not good for, apparently this is not good for a sense of national identity and self-determination. Given some of our stances on sort of sovereignty and, you know, being very much pro-country, perhaps that angle of conscription we've overlooked. But no, we would still prefer to have a professional fighting force. There's other ways that people can be taught national identity. Don't you worry about that. Starts in schools. Right, okay, that's fine. So yeah, just thinking about this revocation of the this early revocation, perhaps as it was called, of this emergency decree. We'll see what happens. Emergency no more. Controversial decision. It's caused a massive debate. Oh no, the original emergency decree was the original decision. Economic damage will linger. That's one of the reasons why we changed it, was because of the fact that we want to see an economic upturn now. The other reason being we already invested in the police, so that should hopefully offset against some of the stuff that happened. So I'm still quite happy that we've revoked it, to be honest. Supreme Court is suddenly against the emergency after its revocation. Oh, is Hawker now beginning to turn against us? Oh, that's interesting. What if he's going to try to retroactively say that we've done something bad here? But this is our paper. Swordland Today is our pro paper. Getting behind us. Time to raise our voices against the Supreme Court's arbitrary actions. And don't forget, we haven't proceeded onwards with the constitutional reform, so we haven't, we're not going to be able to take down the Supreme Court's power here and interference with constitutions and other things. So, resettlement order, we've seen that. Emergency decree removed. Some people still think it's premature. 5 articles from the Radical. They need to shut their gob. Right, okay. Special Zone declares war on Bluedish people. Yada yada. Crimea River. Right, women march for equal education in Anrica. Look, we've given Chiara the full full reign here to do as she wishes with the curriculum. So we're quite happy to change the curriculum. We're not that fussed. Scar that will never heal. We have made the right choice to revoke the order, but at what cost? Am I in trouble? Oh, they are. Yes, they are. They are. Look, retroactively reviewing the legality of the state of emergency. Oh. Ooh, that's interesting. They hold the authority to impeach or to try me if they rule that the decree was illegal. Ooh. Now, is that because we've revoked it early? This is not something that was on the radar, folks. This could be troubling. Oh my god. And, yep, freedom for the Swordish boys. No longer forced to fight. Right, there's a lot of stuff there. But the most interesting of all of that, of course, is the fact that the Supreme Court is looking into the state of emergency, which Hawker was privy to, by the way. But there's no evidence that he was involved, I don't think. So that's not going to help us. Now, what's going to happen as a result of this investigation? Impeachment? Imprisonment? I hope not. Right, we're at 50 odd minutes now, so opening this highway is probably going to be, or the railway is probably going to be not a very quick thing. There's lots of pomp and ceremony to be had, so we're going to start that in the next session. But yeah, an unexpected twist here has just emerged that we have to keep a close eye on, and we may need to seek counsel of good old, what's he called? Lucian Gallard. We may need to seek his counsel here. What the hell is going on? Find out in the next session, as we start out by opening the Grand Railway. Until then, though, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.